to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
Hey everyone, welcome. So here we are at episode 23, and I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you're listening. And my promise to you is, as always, I want to just give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that will energize your social media marketing and help you stay social. After all, don't you really want to be the business that everyone's talking about? Because I know I do. So I want to continue today on the subject of LinkedIn. And today I want to just discuss some challenges that I notice a lot of people out there are coming up with when they talk to me about LinkedIn. And one of the things that everybody always says to me is like, I'm so overwhelmed. And here's the thing, I get that. I get that you get on LinkedIn and you're wondering like, well, where in the world do I start out? So I always encourage the people that I speak to or teach on when I'm teaching on LinkedIn, I always encourage them to start slow. Make sure the things that you need to do on LinkedIn are done already, so then you can get to the fun stuff. So for instance, you should really have a complete profile. You should have all your information really all filled out. You want to have a great profile picture, a great cover photo there. So just do those things. Make sure you have really good recommendations. And so just look through your profile and just start there. And then reach out and start connecting with people or accept connections if they make sense to you. The other thing that I notice is a lot of times the next thing I think that's really important is consistency. People have trouble being consistent on LinkedIn because it's just a lot of people just go and they fill out a few things and then they never go back to it. And to be honest with you, if you're doing that, it's not going to work for you. So just try to do a few things each day, even if it's like make sure you're posting like once a week or twice a week, and make sure you're connecting with people, because that's what really LinkedIn is all about. It's very relational, actually. It's different than Facebook. Yes, it's different than Instagram. But it's more of, it's like, hey, let's connect. And then maybe later on, it's maybe, hey, let's get together at some point if you live close, or let's grab a coffee and have a Zoom call. So the next challenge that a lot of people always say to me is like, I never get any engagement on my content that I put on LinkedIn, or nobody ever reaches out to me to connect. Well, if you're not on LinkedIn to connect, you're not going to be connected with. And if you're not active, nobody's going to want to be connected to you. And as far as engagement, if you put something relevant there that's really going to help your audience on LinkedIn, you're going to do amazing. Okay. People will comment. Every time I post something on LinkedIn, I get comments or I get a response, or somebody messages me and asks me a question. So these are things that are really important. And lastly, I think where we make the mistake, and it's something that should be done day one when you're opening up your business, is you really have to know your target market, and you have to know where your target market is on LinkedIn. So very easy to do. You can find your target market by just typing in the search bar. And you'll see a whole bunch of people, and maybe they're connected with somebody that you know, or sometimes you can, if you're an open networker, you can reach out and say, hey, I see that we have this in common and love to connect with you. Never use that canned message, because I never ever accept a connection request usually from a canned message unless I know you. So the bottom line is I want you to try to just think about who that is you're looking for to connect with on LinkedIn. You have to know that. So I hope those 4 things help you. This week is an even shorter podcast because I don't want to just ramble on about subjects. And I think LinkedIn is something that you really need to do and need to be active on to really understand it and overcome those challenges that you are having. Now, one other, just as a bonus, I just want to say this. I put out a survey, and I had over 100 people answer this survey, and basically they told me their challenges on LinkedIn. And one thing that came up over and over again was that, how do I stop the spamming? How do I stop people from asking me to buy something? So you really can't do anything about that, but you can always just not connect with them, in other words, or disconnect with them. And that can be done by going to their profile and then hitting the little dots down and moving down on their profile picture, and then just saying that I don't want to be connected with them anymore. I mean, you'll see the drop down. You'll see the drop down, and you'll be able to do it that way. But you do have to go to their profile to remove them from being a connection of yours. But one thing I do want to say is that just the mere fact that you say you don't like that, make sure that you're not doing that to other people. Because if you are, then it's like the pot calling the kettle black. It's not a good thing. The other thing is you could not only just disconnect with them, but you could write them back and see if they're really serious about connecting with you, not just writing a bunch of templated things, but you could answer them back and say, hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about you, and see if they answer. Because it's interesting. I've done that a couple times, and guess what? They have another spam message that they send to me, and then that's when I disconnect with them. So I hope that helps. Have a great day. And if you need anything or you need to ask any questions, you can ask away. Just contact me at Lorraine@bizgonesocial.com, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram @BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.